Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. Out in the woods this morning. It's a nice, relatively cool June morning, and getting a little walk in before the weather turns nasty because we're under pretty much a flood watch. We have storms coming in that are going to dump maybe 2 inches or more of water on us. And by the way, an inch, that's 2.54 centimeters, so it's relatively easy to do the math. Be nice if it was exactly 2.5, right? But I'm going to talk a little bit today about where I think Panasonic LUMIX is going as far as what's going to come in the future. And I think I've done videos like this before, but you get more data and you get to where you can kind of make a guess as to what's happening. Well, here's flight pattern is right over this today, so I'm going to pause here. He's gone. By the way, I just saw a video. There's an American Airlines pilot who's actually a flat earther. That's really pretty weird. But a few weeks back, I did a video on the new LUMIX L10, which is sort of a successor to the LX100 line. And I just want to touch a little bit on that and then get into what that camera might tell us about where things are going. First of all, my main concern with that camera is dust, and it's because I had the previous camera that uses the same lens assembly, the LX100 Mark II, and Panasonic's never been really specific about what they've done to prevent dust from getting into the camera. And they said when they came out with the Mark II, they said, "Oh, we've taken countermeasures." And, I got dust on mine. Other people got dust on theirs. I've kind of sworn off fixed lens compacts because LUMIX is not the only one that has the dust issue. I mean, I've hunted around and others do get dust as well. And it's a problem because you can't clean the sensor, even with that little vacuum cleaner bottle thing. So, I just wish Panasonic was more specific about the measures they've taken. And they're just not even on the LUMIX live stream. But we'll see, time will tell. Because I know that if dust gets on the sensor of the L10, we're gonna know about it. But what does that camera say about where Panasonic is going? And, I know people are kind of pining away for a GX10 or a GX9 Mark II, or a GX8 Mark II, because it's actually not quite the same camera as the GX85 and GX9 bodies. But unfortunately, I think that what it means is we're going to see, before we see anything else, hope I'm wrong, an S9 Mark II or an S7, whatever you want to call it, because if you look at these cameras, the L10 is about the same size as the S9. It's a little thinner. And by the way, I think I've said in the past that I did try the S9 and I found it too big for what it was. But here's the thing. The S9 and the GX9 are about the same size. There is a significant weight difference. So I think because the S9 was heavier, I kind of got the impression it was bigger, but they're close. Yeah, and of course, Panasonic LUMIX, there seems to be a fork here because you could very easily take that L10 body, and since it's already got a 4/3 sensor in it, it'd be relatively easy to put in a micro 4/3 mount and a sensor with, a self-cleaning sensor, and come up with something that's a successor to the GX9. But I think it's just as easy for them to come out with, a successor to the S9. And if they do that, I think what they will do, fingers crossed, put in an EVF, give it a hot shoe, and mainly because you need a hot shoe to use this DMW DMS1 microphone, which you can't do on the S9 because it doesn't have a hot shoe, and a mechanical shutter, turn it into a photo camera, and have a real competitor to the Sony A7C line, which right now an A7C II is roughly $2,000, $2,100 US. I think it'd be pretty easy for Panasonic to come up with something to compete with that. And of course, an S9 Mark II is going to have in-body image stabilization, and Panasonic's is really the best at this. So that'd be an interesting camera. Now, the thing about it is lenses. I think there's a little bit of a hole in the LUMIX L mount line as far as compact lenses go. You've got the 18 to 40 millimeter compact zoom lens that they sell with the S9. So that's sort of an analog to the little 12 to 32 Micro Four Thirds Lumix lens, of course, wider on the wide end and shorter on the telephoto end. And then, of course, they just came out with that 40 millimeter f2, pretty compact lens, not quite a pancake, but you know, the fact that they discontinued the Micro Four Thirds 20 millimeter f1.7 might indicate the road that they're going to take. But the obvious hole is a compact telephoto zoom. So something like the Micro Four Thirds 35 to 100 millimeter lens, which somebody in the comments just recently, when I was talking about using the GX9 for photojournalism, somebody said, why aren't you using that? The reason I'm not using that lens is because when I bought my 45 to 150, I wasn't doing photojournalism, and it was less money than that 35 to 100 compact lens. So it seems to me like what Panasonic, and maybe they're working on this, needs to put together a really compact travel kit that is L-mount, is an analog to that 35 to 100 what is it? It's an f4 to 5.6, I think. So they could, you know, come out with maybe a 50 to 200, or even a 70 to 200 would be fine, because you know, because a lot of people tend to worry about gaps in their focal length range, right? You know, 18 to 40, and then there's a gap until 70. You know, you can crop a little bit. You don't really need to fill that gap. But yeah, that would be very interesting. Not something I'm probably going to buy. I think I'm pretty much set. So, and you know, and I have a little bit of evidence here as far as where things are going, because I got this email from Panasonic Lumix, because I'm on their mailing list, about celebrate grads and dads, right? So gift ideas for dads and grads. So there it is. I don't know if you can see that, but if you look at the cameras that are here, there's an S5 Mark II, there's an F5 Mark II, S5X Mark II, and there's an S9. There is not a Micro Four Thirds camera in this thing. So they got deals on it though. I mean, if you buy an S5 Mark II, you can get a free 85 millimeter f1.8 lens, so if you want to get into portraits, there you go. Same thing as the S5 IIX. So yeah, so it's interesting. But I think, you know, smaller cameras are now kind of a thing. I mean, there's so many YouTube videos now about, you know, people wanting to move to something smaller when you don't need to carry, you know, something like this. This is a G9 Mark II, of course, but it's the same size as the S5 Mark II, a little lighter. So yeah, I think that would be a great kit, you know, with those three lenses. One of them, of course, hypothetical, but I think a lot of people would be interested in that. And maybe even diehard Micro Four Thirds people would be interested in it. So what do you think? Is that something that you would want to invest in? Let me know in the comments. If this was helpful, useful, interesting, pop that like button. It's a big help to me. Also, I have a Buy Me a Coffee link down in the description, so that would be appreciated. I'm Todd Banner. I will see you in the next video.